You said you kind of view the inspection as it's kind of cheap insurance. I think it's a safety net. I think it's your first line of,
For sure.
Oops, better keep an eye on that, or oops, I better not go down this road. I think that it's a way to safeguard you, especially when you don't know anything about homes. I'm not a handy guy at all. I need guys like you. I mean, I think it's a good way to make sure that you're not biting off more than you can chew.
From the grit and the grind to successful minds, live from the entertainment capital of the world, your hosts, Jillian Batchelor and Daryl Hannah.
Hey everybody, it's Daryl Hannah here with Vegas Real Talk and
Courtney Buford filling in for the lovely Jillian Batchelor.
Man, no one can really take her spot, can they?
I'm doing it right now. I'm literally doing it right now. It's okay.
Try to hang in there.
I'll talk over you. It's fine.
And today we have a special guest. Jason from GreenTech Inspections is with us. How's it going, Jason?
Going good, thank you.
So you're a home inspector.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, probably one of the most important parts of a real estate transaction. I always call it cheap insurance, right?
Yes, it is.
Because it's $400 or $500 and could save you $100 grand.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Quite a bit of money. Yes.
Yep. Oh yes.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about that. How do you view your profession? I view it as cheap insurance. How do you view it?
It's kind of funny. I come from construction, 27 years of construction here, and
Which helps.
started doing this back in 2000, actually 91 with my dad, and then I got licensed in 2000. But just the whole industry altogether, it's great for especially new home buyers, you know, because I can walk them through, explain the home. So it's always a learning process on our end, you know, going over everything over and over again. And then with the buyers that have had homes, I always get that, well, the last inspector missed this and the last inspector missed this. And then I have to explain, well, you know, these mechanical items, they're meant to go out, you know, so I have to explain to them, you know, an air conditioner isn't made to last 30, 40 years, you know, and there's some things that there's a lot of explanation and understanding education that we have to give to them. So for me, I love the business. I love teaching people. It always keeps me going, me learning. And then if there's always something that somebody asks me that I'm not sure about, it's even better because now I get to go back and learn a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned your dad when you in '91. Is that where you learned the craft from?
Yes, actually, it's kind of funny. I've been working construction since I was 8. He was a heavy equipment operator in the union. I got into the union when I was 19, started working construction for all those years. Then he started a home inspection company here in '91. And then I started working with him off and on. 2000s when I started really working with him. And then when the market crashed in 2007 is when I went in full bore and got my license.
On your own.
Nice.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was going to say, if you started in 2000, this is your second go around of a booming economy or booming housing market.
It's been great.
Yeah. So, you know, let's go back because right now buyers have slowed down. Sales have slowed down because people are so afraid that 2008 is going to happen all over again.
Exactly.
So let's go back to 2008 and that time period. Talk to us a little bit about, you know, because you said that's where you first started on your own.
Yes.
What made you go out on your own during such a trying time? Like how'd that go down? It
was actually kind of funny. I had a few friends that my dad and I were doing inspections for that I grew up with. And 3 of them worked for different property management companies. So they asked me to go to lunch one day, and they knew I was working construction at City Center, and I was working. You know,
everybody was working at City Center back then, huh?
14 16-hour days, 7 days a week. You know, I barely had any life. And they said, "Hey, I want to take you to lunch on Sunday. Can you get the time off?" I met them, and they straight up told me we have over 50 investors from different countries that are buying everything, and we need an inspector.
Wow. Yeah.
And if you want to do this full time, we'll give it to you. And I didn't even hesitate. I went to work the next day.
Lap.
Yeah.
I told my superintendent, because I was a foreman, I said, give my truck to him. If I ever need a job, I'll come back, but I'm gone.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it was the best decision I ever made.
For sure.
I'd go back to construction here and there every few years just to keep, because I'm in the union, so I had to keep my credits and my status up.
Right.
But I honestly haven't looked at construction in the last 6 years, so it's been great.
Wow. Well, this is a good lesson for people listening because kind of going off subject of real estate, just investing, things pop in our laps sometimes, and we tend to overanalyze and we take them, I got to think about it, and then you take a few days and then a lot of times that opportunity isn't there anymore.
No.
It sounded like you didn't even hesitate. Like you just jumped on it. And
I was so wore out from construction. It was just like I needed something different. I
Yeah.
was so wore out and beat. And,
Oh, yeah.
And I never saw my kids.
Right.
So that was the biggest thing. So now I get to see my kids now they're older, but I never
that's
got to
great.
spend a lot of time when they were younger. But
Yeah.
it's a great experience, and I love this. I love this.
That's cool.
This industry.
Yeah, and I think it's probably, I don't know about you, Courtney, but one thing I love about what I do is every day is different.
For sure. Without a
Every
doubt.
house.
It's
every
not
place.
monotonous, right?
Yes.
It's like every house is different. Every backyard is different. Every design is different. Every
client
is
is
different.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Some are very challenging. Some are not. Some are great. Some are not. Like,
Yes.
it's fun.
It is. It's a
enjoy
lot of fun. You said you kind of view the inspection as it's kind of cheap insurance. I think it's a safety net. I think it's your first line of,
For sure.
oops, better keep an eye on that,
Yeah.
or oops, I better not go down this road. I think that it's a way to safeguard you, especially when you don't know anything about homes. I'm not a handy guy at all. I mean, I can write you a resume, I can write you a short story, I can write you a poem. I cannot change my own oil. I have no idea how to fix anything in my house, none of that stuff. So I need guys like you. I mean, I think it's a good way to make sure that you're not biting off more than you can chew.
Yeah.
And to elaborate on what you just said, that's another part that I like about my industry compared to yours when it comes to your buyers. The liability is all on me.
Right.
So I like to take that off of you guys. When I leave every inspection, if the buyers are there, tell them, hey, you have any questions about any of the repairs, the home, anything that I called out, please call me. That way, if you guys misconstrued what I say, you guys are liable for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Send it back to me. If you want something repaired, then you go to your realtor. But,
Right.
most of that's on me.
Yeah. Well, as realtors, we need to stay in our lane, right?
Right.
We're not inspectors. We're not CPAs. We're not attorneys. Let the guys that are licensed and the professionals deal with that stuff.
And vice versa.
Don't get
sure.
caught up. Absolutely. And let me ask you a question. Would you rather have the buyer at the inspection or not?
I love when the buyers are there.
You do?
I do. It makes my job and your job way easier.
For sure.
There's going to be pictures in
you
there
can
that they're
explain
going to freak
things.
out.
Yep. You're exactly right.
I could have mold in a little area like this, but the picture makes it look this big.
Oh, and then you say the word mold, then it's all over the whole house.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it could
I
be,
never say mold.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if I do see it.
yeah, of course.
But no, it's like, there's so many different things. There was a company here in town I was doing boatloads of inspections for. They would not allow their buyers to call me, come to the inspections, answer any questions, anything.
Wow.
And I finally went to them, and I tell you, I love to make money, but I don't like to take money.
Right.
And so I finally went to them and said, hey, I don't want to do any more inspections for you guys because you guys are killing your buyers are letting the deals get killed.
Yeah.
You're not even letting them talk to me and letting me tell them, hey, this isn't a big deal.
Right.
So I'm doing 2 or 3 inspections for the same people. And I'm like, dude, I could have remedied this at the first inspection.
Now, I'll tell you, I've used some different inspectors throughout the 20 years, and there have been some reports that I've read that I would have canceled halfway through the report. I mean, it just looks so bad the way that it's worded. And you try to go to a homeowner and go, look, I know the way this sounds, but let me just kind of go through them. They're like, nope, absolutely not. They say that gotta have a licensed contractor to fix this and this and that. And, so talk to me a little bit about the wording, like as far as how you do your reports, versus, because I know you probably know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
with
I
some
actually
other.
do. No, I do. And they, the buyers and the sellers have to understand by law, we have to put in there a licensed contractor, licensed plumber,
You have
licensed
to,
electrician.
of course.
Because if you call a handyman, dude, he could change his license number the next day.
Right.
Yeah.
A contractor, you have the contractor's board. They have to go to
And then they're
school,
insured.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're insured. So, I did an inspection for an electrician. He's a licensed electrician, been in the business for 30 years. And he's like, well, why are you telling me I have to get an electrician? Because if I tell you do it and you get electrocuted, I'm getting sued.
You're going to get
So
Yeah.
do it yourself. Just don't tell me about it. I
Exactly.
could care less. But
And that, and so what you're saying is true. You can say all day long, gotta use a licensed contractor to fix this door.
exactly.
Well, if your next door neighbor is a handyman, he wants to come fix your door and you want to hire him to do it, and
Do it.
have at it. You don't have to hire a licensed contractor.
For sure.
I mean, unless you're Courtney, then you got to get somebody else. But
don't get Courtney to come fix your door.
I'm not Andy. It is what it is, right? So funny.
No, that makes a lot of sense, though. People don't understand that. There's a reason we have to put licensed contractors, electricians. So it just, takes the liability off of everybody.
So you mentioned the big M word in inspections, mold. It's probably the scariest word that you can see in an inspection.
Yes.
And I know you got to be very careful about using that term because there's a lot of stuff that looks like mold that's not mold.
Yes.
A lot of times it's mildew.
Mostly showers, yes.
Mildew that looks like mold, and it's black, so they think it's black mold, and we're all gonna die. It's like no. I've seen so many buyers freak out, want to cancel. And what if you're listening and you're thinking about buying a home and you see the word mold, a lot of times that word is used incorrectly,
Yes.
even by inspectors.
Right.
Yep.
You don't, and I've seen inspectors call stuff mold, and I'm like, they really don't know if that's mold or not. I go, let's get it inspected by a mold, and let's get it tested by a mold inspector, because there's inspectors that just do mold,
Yes.
right? And when you see something that could be mold, is that how you call it out?
I'll put on that there was visible moisture damage with some staining.
Visible moisture damage.
And I'll
I
tell
like
them
it.
that, hey, if it's big enough, I'll say, and you got a constant, it's
constant flow.
leak and constant food source.
Right.
Definitely.
And that's another thing that people don't realize about mold is for it to be the type of mold that can like make your family sick or kill you, it needs to be a consistent source of water for a very long period of time, where it builds and it grows and it, because I'll see little black stuff like in a shower or underneath of it's like, it's probably not mold. There's no consistent water source there. Maybe there was, someone spilled something and some mildew grew, because it's, if it's underneath of a sink or something, that's a lot of times where mildew is.
And you got to really look at it too, because maybe they spilt something and you got to really look at it. Make sure it was this moisture or something.
You need to check it.
Yeah. And even if it is mold, it's not always, it depends on the person. It depends on their health situation. Do they have respiratory issues? Do they have an autoimmune disease? Are they sensitive to those kinds of things? When I worked for GreenTech Home Inspections back in 2005, they put us through a extensive course on mold, what's required for it to grow. The reason why we have issues here is because it's so hot. Yes. So it gets stuck behind a substrate or behind drywall, and that's where it grows. But it's not something that you can't clean. It's absolutely, there's a remedy for that. So even if you have mold in your house or in that inspection, it doesn't mean you need to walk away from the home. It just means that it needs to be handled, needs to be remediated, and you're good to go.
For sure.
I mean, we used to do that all day long. It's not a big deal.
I just had a deal where it was back when there was 20 offers within 1 hour. And
you mean back in April?
Just a few months ago. Yeah.
Right.
And the person that actually won the bid went over and above, like what he had to do to get this property was insane. Like you could tell he really wanted it. Did the inspection. There was a little spot that you couldn't see with your naked eye that was damp in the kitchen ceiling, which right above that is the master bedroom. So obviously we knew we had a little leak or something, but it wasn't anything major. I mean, there was a little spot about 6 inches wide that on the FLIR was moisture. So he canceled. There's mold. We're done. Water damage. No way. And I go, look, it probably is just a very simple thing. My seller's willing to fix it. We're going to take it apart. We're going to get it tested. We're going to clean it. We're going to get it retested. Why would you want to cancel? And the agent, brand new agent, really didn't know how to handle her client. Just canceled and they went. Next person in line, I called him up. Hey, are you still interested? Absolutely. Boom. Within 2 minutes, I had it resold.
Right.
But I was already going to get that taken care of even for the new buyer, right? You have to.
Yep.
Once you know about it.
Right.
I'm telling you, it was the most simplest thing. They opened it up. They didn't find any mold, but they still treated all the lumber with this like treatment paint or something.
They have to paint it and make it all sealed up.
Yeah, and then they tested it just to make sure there was no mold there. Correct. And then they sealed it up and it was done. The next buyer got it.
Don't
it
even
was
know
like
where it's at after they're done. It looks great.
That buyer really canceled for absolutely no reason. And what I tried to tell I'm saying this to teach agents if they're listening. Look, if the seller's willing to open it up and test it at no cost to your buyer, why not let them do it? You still can cancel.
You know where that comes into? That comes into education. That comes into the buyer's agent telling their buyer, the inspection is really just to kind of give you an overview of the house and decide whether there's too much in that house for you to deal with. Yes. You've already paid for the inspection. If they're willing to do what's necessary to get it to where it needs to be, why wouldn't?
And if they're willing to, like we were willing to extend the due diligence period.
Right.
We were willing to get all the tests done out of my seller's pocket. There was really no reason to cancel other than they were just freaked out. The buyer's agent really, like you said, should have had that talk with them. Let's just see, right?
Like he said, it's uneducated. They haven't done enough. They don't know enough.
If they open it up and they find all kinds of mold,
then boom,
boogie,
get out of there.
You're gone, right? You still have the due diligence period. You still can cancel for no, get your earnest money deposit back. Everything's fine. I don't know.
For sure.
I just see so many people get so freaked out about that word mold.
Yes.
And it really causes a lot of damage when it doesn't have to.
You really should be more concerned with your AC unit, quite frankly.
Right?
That's what you really should be worried about, your plumbing, your AC. So, Jason, when you're doing an inspection, you're talking to somebody that maybe it's their first home or they just don't do it every day, which we all know. What do you tell them are the top, say, 3 items? I know 8. For me, I always tell my clients, if there's something wrong with the AC, we have to address those things. If there's something wrong with the electrical, anything that requires that has a safety component to it, we absolutely want to address. What's your thoughts on those kinds of things?
Well, like you said, definitely the air conditioning units.
Yep.
Roofs for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely
roof.
with the roofs.
Ooh, I got a good one about roofs.
Yeah, I did. The roofs are the biggest thing. In the attic, make sure the trusses and everything are good. Structural. But safety items is the biggest thing.
Right.
Probably,
fire hazards, things like that.
Exactly.
For sure.
My number one, what's your number one pet peeve on a home inspection? I'm just wondering if you have a big one. I got a big one.
Relatives.
Have relatives in your home inspection?
No, relatives of the buyer coming to the inspection.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I love it.
Don't bring your
Shows.
dad.
Or friends.
I kind of don't even want your wife there or your husband. If you're buying, no, I'm kidding.
Or how about the 5 kids
you're not
running
kidding.
around?
No. Right. Well, because here's the thing: everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah.
And they're usually wrong. It's
There's
usually
too many
based on
chiefs
nothing.
in the kitchen, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks HGTV, because now everybody's afraid of everything, or everybody thinks they know things they clearly don't know. So, yeah.
If you're not a party to the transaction, like, get the hell out.
Hey, to be quite honest with you, I'm not at the inspection.
Yeah.
Because that is a
I don't go to
third-party
inspections either.
function,
Yep.
and Jason is qualified. He's an inspector. I'm not an inspector. I'm not going to say the wrong thing. I'm not going to put.
Well, if you go to, you're opening yourself up to liability. You start
absolutely
yapping your
do.
mouth.
Yes, you do.
100%.
So here's my pet peeve: broken roof tiles. That's my number one. Drives me. Be one broken roof tile up there, and they want it repaired. They want it replaced.
Right.
And for once, I'm glad that we have an inspector in here, because I've never sat down and asked an inspector this question. I tell my clients, look, broken roof tile isn't going to cause your roof to leak. No. It's actually there to look pretty.
Exactly.
Does it keep water out? No. Absolutely. It does. I mean, it helps a little bit.
But
what's underneath of it is what keeps the water out.
Right.
And as long as that doesn't have a hole in it and that's not compromised, that broken roof tile ain't fixing nothing, right? And are you going to be flying around with a freaking drone looking at roof tiles? You can't see it from the roof. I mean,
I do that.
you do what? Fly around on a drone?
No,
looking
I had
at
some
roof tiles?
pigeons on my roof over. Like when we had this rain, the next morning I have all this pigeon poop everywhere. I absolutely grabbed my drone and I flew it because I wanted to know what the hell was going on up there.
Well, the once a year you look. I'm just saying, it's like,
no, not every day though.
Do we need to have it repaired?
No, I mean, they could have it sealed,
replaced,
and honestly, if it's just a couple of tiles, like I had a guy the other day that freaked out. It was the overhang that's not even over the house; it's over the garage. That really, there's nothing
underneath of it,
right?
And all of them had slid out. And honestly, you just got to push them back.
Just push them back in,
right.
And then and he freaked out over that. No, I'm not buying the house unless they fix these. And they were like, it was like a $200 fix.
Yeah,
the roofer. I gave him a couple, and he called him, and he was like, "Yeah, it's $200, but I'm not paying for it. They got to pay it." I'm like, "Okay."
Wow.
And I just it drives me crazy sometimes. The things that buyers cancel over. We're talking about like $100 repair. Yeah,
but you know what though? We are a little complacent. We do this every
No, for
day.
sure. I understand
We
that.
see
That's
the horrors
right.
every day. So
You're right.
I think it's a question of exposure is all it is.
Yeah.
And more education
It's
to buyers
knowing
as
though.
well.
Education.
More education to
For
buyers
sure.
as well. They really need to know that like we were talking about earlier, I was saying earlier that, all the mechanical devices in the home, they're all going to go out.
Yeah.
They need to know
at some
that.
point.
Right.
They need to know where they're at this moment in time.
Exactly. How old they are. Have they been serviced? This and that. And my favorite story I always tell is, did this house around 7,500 square feet, had a 75-gallon water heater in the garage. The lady asked me, do you have any idea how long these last? And I said, no, not really. It just depends.
Yeah.
Well, I tripped a GFI, came back to the garage, and the water heater was leaking.
Oh,
So
no.
I went back in and I go, hey, I think I know when that water heater is going to go out. It's going to go out today.
Right, today.
And it went out. But if I
Wow.
would have been there the day before, I would have got a call. Why didn't you call this out?
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm
Right.
like, dude, it's just, people don't understand this kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. There we
Can we
go.
talk about this?
You know what's funny? Before we started, and I said to you, you're the only one that does.
It's a
that.
reminder, man.
Here we
Sorry, I got a
are.
lot of reminders. Hey, so here, you want to hear my pet peeve number 2?
Definitely.
Sure. You're an angry little cuss today, aren't you?
I am.
What's number 2?
I like to get it out. It's like I think you're like a psychiatrist right now for realtors. The water meter spins when everything's turned off to the
Oh
house.
yeah. Oh, even that landscape leak. It's driving you
Yeah.
nuts.
And I understand that could be a really big issue. How many times in your career have you found the major got to dig up the whole house to fix when that happens? It's pretty rare,
Probably
right?
twice in 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So very rare.
Very rare.
Yeah.
So was it a leak at the main?
It was a leak between the main and the house.
In the house.
Oh,
So then you got
yeah.
to dig it up.
Kind of funny.
yeah.
The first one that ever happened to me, it was actually somebody I worked construction with who was an operator as well. And he lived right around the corner from the job that he was on. He went home, dug it up, and had the laborers fix it for him, and they just went back to work.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, it's good to have
Yeah,
access
it
to
was-
that stuff.
He was pretty lucky there.
Listen,
but he called me up and he goes, man, I had a leak and this and that. And he goes, but I fixed it. I'm
That's
like,
great.
"Sweet."
Yeah.
About 9 or 10 years ago, my old man's went out between the house, like in the front yard. I didn't have any money. He didn't either. We literally went outside, dug it up the front yard, took one of those landscape tubes. Guess what?
Hey,
it's still there. Not kidding.
Still
Yeah,
working.
I don't advise that, but yeah,
Hey,
that's what we
Got to
did.
do what you got to do.
Yep.
Somebody's
Sure.
that's gonna leak again.
I know.
And an inspector's gonna be blamed for not seeing it.
I'm gonna call you out on that job. Frickin' Jason. I had a question for you too. Oh, what's the craziest thing you've seen in an inspection? The reason I'm asking this is
a good
our
question.
very first inspector we had, a guy named John Prodremides, who used to be
Love you, John, if you're listening, buddy.
yeah, John's a solid inspector. A little angry, but he's a solid guy. But he found like a half a key of cocaine in an attic one time.
How come I didn't
My
hear
hand to
about this?
God. He found it in the attic, called the police. They never showed. He waited in the house for like 2 hours. No one ever came out. He just left it there and left the house. He just didn't want anyone to have any record that he was in the house and had it. But what's the craziest thing you've seen?
Man,
Do you still have the address to that?
right? The craziest. I've never had anything like that.
Right.
I think the craziest thing I've ever seen is hoarders.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God.
Hoarders are the
I can
worst.
imagine you've seen
Yeah.
some.
The worst one was this one I did. It was actually funny. The listing agent was with the same brokerage as the buyer's agent, and when I got to the house, the lady would not allow me to come in with my shoes on. And so she's got the door open, and I'm looking inside. It's full of boxes. There's cat feces, dog feces, urine.
No.
And I'm like, I look at her and I'm like, there ain't no way I'm going in your
not
house without my
happening.
shoes.
Without your shoes
I
on.
says,
Yeah.
I feel like covering my shoes to go
Right.
in there because this is gross. And she wouldn't let me in. Called I called the listing agent because I knew him as well, and I said, "Hey, she's not letting me in." He's like, "I wouldn't go in that house without shoes on." So,
Yeah.
anyways, long story short, I went in. I was inspecting just the living room, and it was full of boxes, and 2 mice ran over my feet.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, this lady wanted me to take my shoes off.
no.
And she was following me through the whole house because she didn't want me to steal anything. I was just like,
That's
that's probably the
crazy.
Yeah.
craziest, other than, a few red rooms and some crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But-
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever found any money stashed away? Like,
No.
The attic, like boxes.
I've went into some vacant homes and seen boxes thinking, oh, this is sweet, but no, just pictures.
Just nothing, huh?
Yeah.
I've seen a couple mirrors hanging off the ceilings. I've seen some funny stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And the funniest
Poles.
part, I sold one across on the east side of town. Gentleman closes, and when we closed, the mirror was still there. The bed was gone, but the mirror was still there. Not one word of lie. And John actually inspected that house. Like a year and a half later, he had some kind of issue, so I had to go back to the house. Ask me at the mirrors. You know it is. You know it is. Oh man, I laughed.
Yeah, we done them with swings, poles.
Oh, yeah.
mirrors.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man,
Hilarious.
Do you inspect the swings?
you have to. You have to. I gotta bring my
You have to
assistant
make
with
sure
me.
they're-
And I'm joking. But
That's great.
Too funny. I love it. So you have a son, right?
I have 4 kids altogether.
Wow.
Don't you have one of your sons working for you?
My oldest one was, but he's in school in Reno.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then my oldest daughter, she used to go with me all the time growing up and all that. And,
Okay.
And then my wife, I adopted both of hers.
Oh, nice.
So I
Gotcha.
have 4 of them.
So what's the range in ages?
14, 15, 22, 26.
Oh, gotcha. So yours are the older ones.
Mine are the older ones.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I was really happy because they were gone, and then I started all over. I'm just joking.
Right?
No, that's good, man. That's solid.
Yeah.
No, it's great. It's kind of fun. We merged pretty good, and all the kids get along great. And their personalities, man, it's so fun to see their different personalities and how they
Yeah.
all react to different things.
For
or
sure.
Interact and stuff. No, we have a.
And they get along, the two
they
sets
do.
of children?
They
That's
do.
great.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. No, it's awesome.
How long have you been married?
This time 4 years.
Okay.
Been together for 5.
Congrats.
You hear
Okay.
that? You hear that first time? This time. This time.
How many times are you on?
This is 3.
3.
Yeah.
Okay. That's respectable for Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Jason, dude, I did not know this about you. That's hilarious. This guy. Too funny.
Yeah, that's
I like
a story
it.
for another time.
I like it.
And not
Did
for
you-
a podcast.
Are you from here?
Born and raised? Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so is my
Born
wife.
and raised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What how old are you?
I'm
Valley?
50. I'll be 50 this year.
Okay, so you graduated in 90?
91.
91.
Yep.
Yeah, we graduated in 90.
We graduated in
From Valley, huh?
Yeah.
I'll have to ask you a few questions off
Yeah.
That's too funny.
What's your hobbies? What do you like
Hobbies, fishing, hunting.
to do? Okay.
I love crafting. I mean, like doing stuff around the home.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. A few
You
years.
said crafting.
Well, not. I know. And
I
then
know you're
was like,
scrapbooking
I
over
don't
there, dude.
scrapbook
It's good.
here. I don't knit. If you want a sweater, I'll find somebody
Hey,
for you.
there you go. There you
Etsy,
go.
buddy. Etsy.
But
Etsy.
what was it? Yeah, I love to hunt and fish, camp. I just love
Nice.
the outdoors.
Yeah.
I'm not a beach person.
You have
My
any,
wife loves to go to the beach, and I'll go.
Yeah.
But then she goes to the mountains for me. So it's
That's
a-
cool.
There
it's
you
a
go.
good
It's a
give and
trade-off.
give.
Do you have any toys like toy haulers or
We just bought a toy
campers or
hauler a
anything?
couple
Okay.
of months ago.
Nice.
So we've taken that out a few times, and now we're working on the toys.
And that was your first one that you bought a
That's
few months
my,
ago?
second one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
My
love
first
it?
one was during the crash, and I lost it. I turned it
Oh,
in.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, and I love this one. It's
Cool.
It's gorgeous. It's
Where's your favorite place to go?
um.
You have 4-wheelers and stuff, or
We did. I'm in the process of getting more now.
Okay.
But no, Utah or upper northern Nevada is my favorite place to go.
there you go.
Closer to the mountains and
Utah's
lakes and
good.
stuff like that.
Like Battle Mountain and those areas up there?
I haven't been
or-
up there in a long time, but that is nice.
That's
up there.
really up
It's
there.
very desolate out
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Where's
yeah.
Battle Mountain?
That's a
up
very
northern.
top of Nevada.
Oh,
like
okay.
by Oregon.
Oh, okay. Oh, way up there.
A-Rock, Oregon. I used to go hunting up there.
Yes,
That's-
Oregon's beautiful too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I know you hunted.
Long time ago, buddy. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm a fishing guy. That's
The
it.
first time I shot a deer and didn't kill it and had to track it for hours and hours and hours, then you come up upon it and you're just making that noise, and I never hunted again. Oh, because
It is hard.
it was horrible.
It is hard.
That sounds freaking horrible.
It was
It is.
horrible.
It
Wow.
is.
And I wanted to stop tracking it hours before, and the person I was with was a professional hunting guy.
he's
His
like,
name's
no.
Nick.
No, you
He's
have
like,
to, right?
Yeah.
We will
No, you
track
can't.
this for a week if we
we
have
have
to.
to.
Like you
Yeah.
can't just let it. Like you got to find it. And it was just
Exactly.
like it was the worst experience ever.
Wow.
And it just got. I just never wanted to do it again.
I've never been lucky enough to every time I've hunted, either knocked him down the first or second shot, but nothing after that. So
I wasn't such a horrible shot.
I would hate to see him suffering. I've actually seen my best friend. He shot one in the horn and knocked it out We got up to it and it jumped up and started running.
Oh, no.
Both of us. Yeah.
And he wasn't, so yeah.
He didn't even,
just knocked him out.
All it did was just knocked him out because,
Tommy Boy style. You think that thing's dead and it pops up on the convertible roof?
I was laughing because he was getting ready to go down and grab it and he jumped up. Oh my gosh. I was busting up because he fell over and he was so scared. And
yeah.
It was awesome.
You don't expect that to happen.
It was big. It was around 3 or 4 points, 3 or 4 on both sides. So, yeah.
Wow. And just
But
sitting
it
there
was
asleep.
really tall rack. So it was nice. Yeah,
Wow.
I was laughing.
What I miss about hunting is just being with the guys and campfires and having tents and just being out like in the wilderness.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah, need to
peaceful.
do that more often.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. Because it's so busy here,
Yeah.
especially in Vegas.
It is.
You go up there. I like to go where there's no cell
Which
service.
that's one of the great things about Vegas. Really, is just there's so much stuff that's not far away.
For sure.
Exactly.
For sure.
If you want to go up to the snow, if you want to go hunting, if you want to go to the lake,
Everything.
it's right here.
It's not that far.
It really
I
is.
didn't think I'd love Southern Utah, but man, we go a few times a year. In fact, we're going up for my birthday in a couple weeks. I just love it up there.
Oh, my wife, she's, when we got married, I was working so much. And then we started hiring people.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, do you want to go on vacation? I finally told her, if you want to go on vacation, put it in the calendar.
Right.
Then
Schedule
it's in there.
There it is.
And there's no changing it. We got guys to cover us. Just change. So now she's really good at scheduling.
So how many employees do you have?
Right now, so I have 1 office girl, social media, and 3 inspectors.
Really? So 4 inspectors total?
Yes.
Including you?
Yes.
Isn't it crazy how the world changes?
Yeah.
My inspector has a social media guy.
Right?
Guy or gal. That's
Gal.
awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome that you
It
do
is.
that.
It is. She's awesome, and honestly, she's also a realtor, but she's like a best friend to me.
Yeah.
Actually, she's more of a sister to me. And kind of funny because my wife, when she first met her, I've known her for years, and my wife first met her, and she's just like, dude, you guys are so it's weird how we're intact, and we could go into conversations and go from one conversation to another and just go right back and forth. My wife is just like, her mind just blows up.
Yeah, your Instagram's got a lot of good information. I was wondering, I was like, God, how does he have time to do that?
That's not me.
Yeah, no, a ton of info. What's your handle at Instagram, or do you know it?
Yes, it's GreenTech _high.
Got it.
GreenTech _high.
Yep.
HIGH.
It's just HI.
HI.
Yeah, for home
Okay.
inspections.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
HI.
GreenTech _
Well, he's going to put that on the video.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome. Yeah.
and they'll get your number on there and everything.
It's funny because when I first started it, I had 300 followers. And then she took over, and I tell you what, it's up to I think 1,030 now.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
I was like,
good for
whoa,
you.
this is
like
crazy.
magic, dude,
I
right?
know.
Once
And
you
this
start
is
doing
good
it,
for all the
yeah.
realtors, all the business
Yes.
owners listening that don't do social media.
Yes.
And a lot of them don't do social media because they think they don't need leads, right? They're busy enough.
Right.
But what they don't understand is that social media way more so used for making sure that you're legit.
Credibility.
Credibility.
100%.
Because, if someone's going to use you as an inspector, the first place they're going to go look is probably social media.
Yes.
And if you're not there, it's probably bad.
Definitely.
More people are going to see your post about that inspection that day than any amount of email marketing that you could do.
For sure.
You can shoot
I've
out.
noticed
Nobody's
that.
You
looking
reach
at
more
those.
people.
No.
100%.
Which I'm glad we brought that up. That's good.
Yeah, no, it is a good thing. I tell you what, it's just watching it. And I tell you, the coolest part about the whole thing is there's a bunch of inspectors from different cities and states that have friended us, and we talk back and forth. And there's
Good.
things that they do in different states that we
you
don't
learn
do
from each
here.
other.
Nice.
Yes, it's really
Nice.
super cool. I love it. It's like,
Yeah.
now I got all these guys.
never
that are
stop
like, hey,
learning.
if you're ever here, come see us. And
Yeah.
I'm like, sweet.
That's great.
No, I love that part. I love that kind of. I've met so many people on social off of my professional pages, and yeah, man,
That's
I
great.
love it. It is.
So wrapping up, what's one thing that you could give the audience listening today? It has to do with home inspections that they absolutely need to not miss or not do. Because there's a lot of people out there that think they don't have to do a home inspection.
Oh, Lord, yes.
Right? Let them know how important it is.
No, the inspections are extremely important. Reason being is my ex-brother-in-law called me. He says, hey, I'm getting ready to buy this house, but the house is only 2 years old. Do you really think I need a home inspection? And I'm like, I don't care if it's a brand new home, especially brand new homes need inspections because they always forget things.
Good point.
Sure.
And
Good
so,
point.
I could talk about that all day too. But
Because a lot of people buying new homes think they don't need one.
oh gosh, no. Oh, it's inspected by this guy.
And you're
this guy,
saying they
this
need
guy.
one even more so,
Yes.
especially today.
Oh,
the builders are
GFIs.
cutting
I've
corners.
done some. I'll just say 3 real quick. Insulation they forgot to put in the attic.
Right.
Okay.
That does happen a
A
lot.
jacuzzi tub they forgot to run the power to.
Right.
And GFIs around the kitchen that forgot to put in.
Right.
So I mean, those are some major things.
Yeah.
That
And they don't even figure that out until they go to sell the house.
Exactly.
That was wrong in the first place.
Yep. And then I did
And
a brand new home the other day, and the builder's right there, and he's like, "Look, we've already did everything, and we had some people come in and check everything. I found 17 broken tiles on the roof.
Wow.
17.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, and they were broke to shattered.
Because
not
somebody was
just
walking
cracked.
on them.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and then there was a couple things inside the home, of course, little things, but the roof was the biggest one, and I'm
Right.
like, look at all these,
Yeah.
So, okay, go back to what you were saying. My ex-brother-in-law called me to see if I would do a home inspection. I said, yes, I definitely recommend it. Have somebody, I don't care if it's me or somebody else.
Right.
Let's do it.
But don't skip it.
Exactly. So he actually had me come and do it. Thank goodness, the window to the master bathroom was right outside. I was filling up the tub, and I said, look, I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to go outside and look in the panel and make sure that there's no leaks underneath and look at all the plumbing. As soon as I went out, now he's got a brand new kitchen underneath. They remodeled it, all white cabinets. Everything's white inside. That jacuzzi tub was pouring out water.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Into the wall.
Yep. Somebody, I don't know if they hit something or whatever, but one of the pipes were cracked.
Probably a nail or
And
screw or
man,
something.
it's just flowing out water. I'm yelling, I'm shut it off, drain it, get it out. And so yeah, it was kind of funny. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that was a great catch. But no, I mean, you never know what the people
You
did
have
before.
to. You have to get it
know?
inspected.
What's the average life on an AC unit?
Honestly, so my AC guy that I use, they'll last forever. You just have to service them every year.
Really?
If you don't service them, they just get wore out.
Right.
You don't know if the contact points are all worn, if the capacitor is getting swollen and starting
Right.
to
So you
go
can
out and
replace all
overheat.
that stuff.
It's all easy stuff
Gotcha.
to change out and
Makes
replace.
sense.
It's a lot easier to change that out than
And it's
pay
not
10
so. It's not that the
grand for a new
AC lasts forever. It's if you maintenance it correctly
Yes.
and you replace
And change the
certain
filters.
things,
Right.
yeah,
The
that they'll
filters.
last forever.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Second, one more question. Water heaters. Tell me, now I know in Las Vegas our water's hard.
Yes.
Those tanks don't last. I have a spare tank sitting in my garage right now for when mine goes out. Because I told people, just assume it's going to go
Just call
out.
me and I'll help you put it in.
You think I'm not going to call you? But so
What's the typical lifespan?
Yeah, what's the typical span on that?
That's a crazy question too. I've seen some that were 5 years old that
Yeah.
started leaking. The one that's in my house right now, it's been in there since 2009.
Oh, wow.
I know. I told my wife, I said this summer or the end of this summer, I'm going to go get a new
So
one
it's
and
luck
put
of
it
the
in.
draw?
It really is, honestly.
Yeah.
And then you have the people that are, that argue, does a water softener help? Does it not? It cuts the alkalinity down.
Hard water.
Yeah.
It's got to help.
Exactly.
I would guess.
But on a water heater too, if you take the anoid, sometimes the anoid, if you take that out and replace it as well, then you'll take all that calcification and corrosion out of it as well. Draining them once a year helps.
It does help?
It does help.
Do you like
It's all the
tankless water
sediment.
heaters?
I do, but there's a lot of people. Everybody's got their own opinions.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I can sit here and give you my
Nothing
opinions
against
on how
them, though.
great they are. Exactly. But then you'll have somebody, well, they're not that great, and they only work like this, or they only. And it's come on, everybody's got their own.
Everyone's got
opinion.
their
Yeah.
preference.
For sure.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Man,
It's
it's
great.
been nice talking to you. I think we
Awesome.
could sit here and talk for another
could,
hour if we
for
wanted
sure.
to.
Can I plug one thing real
100%.
quick? This is kind of funny.
100%.
So I'm part of the Women's Council of Realtors.
Okay.
And on
Jillian
so if
will
you
love to hear that.
Yes. Actually, we that's how we met.
Oh, good.
So on my page down in the the front part, it has I'm gonna do the bras for a cause.
You're going to do the.
I am.
They
I was
asked me,
talked
dude.
into it.
Oh, they got you. They got you. I was like, no.
Well, I'm a platinum member, and he's like, "Look, you're the platinum member. You got to do
gotta
it." And
do
I'm
it.
like, "All right." So my wife's designing it. If
Wow.
you want to go on the site and go to it and donate some money for
Okay.
it, I would really
Nice.
appreciate it.
Well, we're
It
definitely
goes to a
gonna look
good
it up.
cause. It's for breast cancer and
For breast cancer.
It's
It's
awesome.
a great event as well. I love
It is. It's a lot of fun. I went
It
last
is.
year and watched everybody, and I was
That's
kind of
cool.
debating, and I'm like, I'm not too man enough to do it. I'll do it.
Yeah. Oh, that's
I can't wait. I'm bringing the cameras, dude.
Oh, thanks.
We're going to capture that moment.
Well, thank you, Jason from
Thank you,
GreenTech.
Jason.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming here. Thank you all to you for watching.
Yes,
this
for
is
sure.
Daryl Hanna
And Courtney Buford in for
with Vegas
Jillian
Real
Thatcher.
Talk. Yeah. Thank you.
Take care.